Good morning, everyone. Great to see you all here together in 3 dimensions. Makes a nice change. Just going to give a bit of an overview of the survey projects that we've been running across Australia as a part of Program 1. My own background is in science and land management at Southern Cross University. I'm a senior lecturer there. When I got to the end of my degree, I took a great interest in the social dimensions of land management because it came to my attention that all of this wonderful science research being done, or you can create the most incredible, useful widget, technology, amendment, but if the farmers aren't using it, there's something going wrong here. So that the social research that we do in Program 1, I think, is so important in terms of making sure that the rubber hits the road or the amendment meets the soil. So farming is a complex activity. The decisions that the farmer makes to adopt or to work with a range of practices have so much to do with economics and the social, as Catherine, I think, has outlined well. And this project is very much focused on understanding those priorities, the drivers of decision-making, everything from demographics through to knowledge and trust in local organisations. It can play a very important role in having input into the strategic planning of local organisations, grower groups, and we found it is already having impact across regions. It comes from a well-established survey methodology. It's built on a range of sociological principles. It's a mail-out survey, and it's going out as we speak in Tasmania, which is the 5th of 6 farming regions across Australia. It explores practices in land management and uses a landholder typology developed by Teresa Groth, which is looking at full-time farmers, part-time and non-farmers, which we found to be quite useful. What I find particularly useful and exciting about this project is that the data itself is spatially referenced. So every survey links to a parcel of land, so then we can map the results and look at the results and compare them with a whole range of different factors, including soil type, rainfall type, climatic regions. And this is just a really quick way of looking at how that can be useful. The full-time farmers are the dark, and you can see that the further you get away from Melbourne, the more full-time farmers that you have, and we found that's actually a trend across regions. On the Eyre Peninsula, the closer you get to Port Lincoln, less full-time farmers. Same in the Central West, the further you go inland. So just little things like that can show things quite nicely. This project is absolutely built on collaboration with far more partners that we can picture there. So if you're not up there, I'm sorry, there's at least double that. But it's so critical to the work of these surveys that we work with local partner organisations to develop the surveys. And we've conducted the surveys so far. We've developed surveys everywhere from Darrigan and Minnipa through to Condobolin and Longford. So huge shout out and thank you to all of those partners for the work that we've been doing. So as we speak, the 5th surveys are landing in Tasmania. So we have a range of core questions that go into a survey booklet that we send out to farmers, and a lot of those factors are around demographics, how old people are, their education, and how they perceive things like risk, and do they consider themselves to be early adopters, how they manage their properties, how long they've owned those properties, quite a bit of detail there. Also what their aspirations are for the future and the challenges that they face. The challenges themselves are often developed by local groups that we focus on for each region. So the local priorities that we co-design through workshops in the regions are absolutely critical to the project. And these are some of the workshops that we've conducted across Australia. And that little mind map there on the right is a bit of a messy mind map, but it comes down to 4 key areas that we use to focus on through the survey. Which will look at a range of practices, but also what are the knowledges that are related to, what are the confidence that farmers have in relation to applying those practices through the survey. And each region has quite different priorities. For example, over in the West, with the West Midlands group, there was a real focus on, well, how are farmers using data? How can we support the use of on-farm data better? And also on the Eyre Peninsula, it was about support. How can we better support our younger farmers? Very much around irrigation and water management in north-central Victoria. And in central West New South Wales, there was quite a focus on the timescale of decision-making. And it's a very rigorous process of development. I think Catherine just popped that one up. That's Tasmania, which is about the size of Tasmania. And there it is. So, as Catherine said, the word survey makes people tremble with anticipation. It's a paper survey, and we find that sending out a paper survey really is a point of difference. And as a result of sending out a survey to around 2,000 landholders in each region, through a partnership with local councils, we do find that we get response rates at around 30% most of the time. So it's quite a rigorous process. And just a little bit of insight into the results. I could, of course, talk all day. There's just some basic demographics there, and you can see, just everything from property size, not a great surprise for many of you, varies greatly across regions, age of farmers, and this background context can be really important for driving decision making. We asked quite a bit around farmer values, and this has actually come up as one of the things that is most common across regions. The number one value for farmers across each region has been the ability to pass on a healthier farm to future generations, which gives me great hope. And we ask a range of questions around how important it is as a business, how important their farm is in relation to their family, but a healthy environment is number one. So I think that's encouraging for the work that's done here, and also what that does for ensuring productivity into the future. But also, of course, looking after family and their needs, preventing pollution and protecting natural resources, and creating wealth and having a profitable business. In terms of looking into some more detail, we asked farmers, do you consider yourself to be an early adopter? And between 33 and 41% of farmers do. That's interesting. Risk can be a major driver of change, risk perceptions of risk and attitudes towards risk. We found the least risk-averse farmers were in Western Australia, where only a third prefer to avoid them, and that goes up across other regions. Also, some differences around farmers thinking, look, I'm happy the way things are, I'm content. We found that to be actually quite closely related to age as well. And financial limitations and time and money. Generational differences. In South Australia, there was a real focus on this. So we looked at the farming responses by generation. So Generation Y were the most likely to involve other people in decisions. They felt least supported to conduct farming and land management activities in relation to older farmers, and this has continued across regions. They felt slightly less likely to be a member of a group, and what we did find, though, is that younger farmers across Australia have generally higher self-reported knowledge levels of a whole range of best practices. We're also interested in the challenges that farmers face. And across Australia, these do vary quite significantly. As you can see, weather patterns in Victoria and the northern wheat belt, but it was actually around infrastructure in the Eyre Peninsula and declining soil health in central West New South Wales. Thanks. And climate change as well is interesting. We're finding some quite different elements there. We asked some open questions about challenges. Climate change does tend to come up as a major issue. Forever, actually, in the Eyre Peninsula, herbicide residue actually came up as higher. Soil issues, soil erosion due to wind or water, biological activity. So there's quite a focus on this and why these issues were occurring and what we can do to mitigate them. So I'll finish up. To summarise, we do pull it all together, and I think I've gone on a little long. So there is a full report available on the Soil CRC website, but we bring it all together in terms of the issues, the management practices, the knowledge levels and the confidence. And from that, we can identify what can be improved. And that comes down to, quite often, knowledge. So better understanding what motivates farmers and identifying the things we can change can enable improved strategic planning. And we do look a lot at how people use information sources. We make sure the surveys are communicated back in a whole range of different ways. That's an infographic. And it has had some real impact so far in strategic planning as well. So Naomi, thanks for the shout out. So to summarise, the key elements driving farmer decision making are we're looking at those farmer characteristics, we're looking at the demographics, the regional context, the values underpinning what farmers do, whether they're likely to take risks, and of course we do find that knowledge is really important and an area for improvement, and level of trust in local organisations as well. And I think we've talked about that. So if you're interested in finding out more information, as I said, the reports are on the Soil CRC website, and the range of technical reports and summary sheets as well. So thank you. Thanks, Catherine.